with Rico and Kayla is about to go live online. Catch All Out Monster hit music, All Out celebrity interviews, All Out showbiz and sports news, All Out fun, an exclusive on the Monster. Catch the stream on the Monster Facebook page at RX931, the Monster YouTube channel at RX931, and twitch.tv/Monster RX931. Your All Out hosts, Rico Robles and Kayla Rivera. Stand by and enjoy the program.
Hey, how you doing, monsters? You know, it is, of course, a very, very special day today for all you fans of, let's see, the band that sang you what? Jenny and Happy Birthday. So, hi, welcome, Kyle. How you doing? Great studio. So, where are you joining us from?
I'm in my studio in Los Angeles, California. This is a new room for me. I just built this room over the past several months, so I'm pretty freshly in here and just started working on some of the PACER music in the studio and finished a few of those songs in this room, and one of which just came out called No Drama, so I finished that song right in this room, right here.
It's so right in the mood. It's so in theme, which is really, really cool. But all along, I thought you were in New York City. So I'm guessing that's Mr. Rubin that's over in New York.
Exactly. I actually did live there for a long time as well, and so I lived there for 10 years. So it's not wrong of you to think that. I think the last time I saw you, I was still living in New York. So you're right on. But I moved out here maybe 5 years ago. Almost 5 years ago, and I love it.
Hey, you know, Los Angeles is where it's at. As far as creatively, does geography play a major factor for you? Is there a certain change, and what was the change of scenery? What was it needed, or was it something to just somehow awaken the creative in you?
Yeah, that's a great question. It does play into the new stuff a lot. I needed a change. I was in New York, like I said, for about 10 years, and I never really felt like I sunk into living there and having the lifestyle of a music producer, which is what I've been doing for the last decade, kind of in the shadows. I've been producing for other artists and writing songs for other artists. And doing that in New York for me became very difficult over time, just having a separate studio and noise. And I was always sharing walls, like every single wall with another person. And either I was bothering somebody or they were bothering me, and I was trying to do some like really quiet acoustic guitar take or something, and I'm hearing like the neighbors screaming. So it never really felt like I hit a groove there. So of course I made it work. I was there for 10 years, but as soon as I got out here to California, there was just a little bit more space and kind of this like deep breath moment, is how I describe it. So it just kind of fit more with my personality, I think. And yeah, now I'm finally to the place of releasing music, and I think being here in California has helped me get over the hump of finally releasing my own music.
Of Kyle, that's what it's about, which is pretty cool. Thanks for sharing that. Go ahead, Kayla.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And I mean, now I'm curious, you know, with you being LA and like you said, you finally have been able to release your own, you know, solo music. So can you talk us through No Drama? How did it come to be? Where are you at right now? And yeah, if you could maybe even share with us your favorite lyric from the song.
Yeah, definitely. So another thing about the move was actually the cause of kind of this opening in my life to even make a big move like that was a breakup. I went through a breakup from this 7-year relationship I was in, and we were going to get married. We were just about there to that point. That was kind of the next step for that relationship. And at a certain point, things just fell apart, and we had this like random conversation that led to us breaking up. And that ultimately, like I said, it opened up this kind of path to totally start over in a lot of ways. So moving out here was a big part of that. In No Drama, that song kind of tells the story about just two people that aren't really meant for each other. and there's a lot of bickering and fighting, and even though there might be a physical connection, and of course you stay together for a long time, there might be this connection, but on the day to day, there's just a lot of, for lack of a better word, drama. And the next steps were for us to get married and have kids maybe one day, and I think we just weren't quite right for each other to make those big steps, even though we tried very hard. So yeah, that the song is mostly about that, about there being a little bit too much drama in a life, and I think a relationship should be easy. Of course, everyone always says marriage is hard and relationships are hard, and of course they are. But I think at a certain point there should be this feeling of comfort with that person, and I don't know if I ever reached that. So yeah, that's the story of the song. And there's several songs around this subject matter that I wrote for the PACER project, and I have 4 songs, and they're the ones that have caused me to create this other persona, PACER. I had released, a handful of songs as Kyle Patrick, and of course the Click 5 previous to that. And I was going to release more music. I knew I was going to do that at a certain point. I didn't know when, but as I started to create the sound of these 4 new songs, specifically the vocal sound, it was quite different than what I had done in the past. It almost sounded like this otherworldly creature, not necessarily me anymore. Of course, it's still me singing, but I put this kind of effect chain on it and really went kind of crazy with the production, the vocal production, and it ended up sounding like this different person, and yeah, like a creature. So I wanted to create a name that could kind of give people, especially new listeners, this freedom to listen to it with an open mind. And it's a totally new sound for me, so I wanted it to be this like clean slate.
And thank you for sharing that moment that what you've gone through. I don't know if it was pandemic. You're in the same space. I went through that as well, and to somehow try to discover it, try to somehow question, what am I as a being? And they say that one of the things that you could do is actually to create something marvelous is get your heart broken. And you created this character. You recorded. Is it hard now when you listen to the song? Is it a more therapeutic thing when you listen to the 4 songs that you created?
Yeah, so that's my life right now. Couldn't be more different than when I wrote these songs. I'm actually about to get married. And my wedding's in a month and a half, and I'm with this amazing woman who I love so much, and we bought a house together. We have a puppy. Like we're living this life that I wanted, and I found this lovely girl, and she's incredible, and we support each other so much, and it's just this special relationship to me. So it is very funny that these songs, I couldn't relate to them any less, if I'm being totally honest, anymore. But that's the thing about songwriting. It's just they're snapshots of how you might feel at any given time. It doesn't necessarily mean you feel like that all the time. So, for example, all these songs, there's one song that I wrote about wanting to get back together with my ex, and that day I felt like that. But the next day, maybe I didn't. Maybe the next day I wrote a song about how difficult it was, and how I thought it was a great choice that we aren't together anymore. So it's kind of this beautiful thing about songwriting. And I think what I hope is these songs can be helpful to new listeners that are going through something like this, and maybe they'll relate to something. So it's kind of like I'm giving them away. I'm releasing them to whoever might be listening to the song, and they can create their own story from it.
Oh, most definitely. You know, this will be a great, what is it called? A diary, an almanac, a guide, a survivor's guide to what you have gone through, right?
I like
Yeah,
that.
true.
I'm going to use that if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
True. And I mean, like speaking of the song, speaking to people and maybe giving them even, the courage to also, do as you did. But I mean, is there a specific lyric in the song that when you wrote it, you were just like, oh, yeah.
Had to get that out.
Yeah.
The most hard-hitting lyric in No Drama is all your worries were an endless ocean I don't want to swim in with our future daughter. So, like I said, there was a lot of discussion in that past relationship about those big next steps, and one of them was having kids. We talked about, for some reason, we kind of thought we were going to have a daughter. And I didn't want to bring a kid into this relationship that was full of turmoil. So that's the most impactful lyric for me, is talking about that feeling of not quite being ready to have kids with her.
Monster RX93.1.
Our love was like a 67 Cadillac. I had to take it for a drive. But whenever we're together, I remember that we crashed it every single night. All I wanted was a little time without the thought of bank accounts and memory problems. Yeah, all I wanted was a little time without the drama. Only hanging out, no drama. Our love was like a lonely stick of dynamite, and we were too much of a match. It took no effort whatsoever, it was suicide, and we were both okay with that. All I wanted was a little time without the thought of bank accounts and memory problems. Yeah, all I wanted was a little time without the drama. Only hanging out, no drama. All your worries were an endless ocean I don't wanna swim in with our future daughter. Swimming with our future daughter.
It's just amazing that we got to capture many of the fans as well, got to capture the many eras of your life. You know what I mean? Now you're in the happy mode, about to get married mode. Congratulations, best wishes.
Congratulations.
But many of the Philippines remember, of course, your band Click 5. Now, you know, many of your songs we still play every single day. We have Jenny, Happy Birthday, and all the other tracks. And I remember, you know, what was your memory of the Philippines when you guys visited, when you guys toured?
Yeah, vivid memories, specifically in Manila. We showed up, actually, the first show that we did in Asia was in Manila. And I didn't really know what to expect. We were playing a mall show. And I'm not positive which mall it was. I will try to find that out off the top of my head. But we showed up to this mall show, and there were somewhere around like 10,000 people there at this mall. It was one of the atriums where there's many levels, and it was full to the brim. And we walked out, and just it was like chaos, screaming, and people knew the songs, and I had been in bands since I was a kid. I've been playing music for a long time, writing music for a long time up to that point. Played many shows, but most of what I did was like bar gigs and small venues and a lot of listening rooms where I was playing acoustic versions of the songs I had written. So this was a massive shock to come into this big atrium like this and see 10,000 plus people knowing who I was and knowing the songs and knowing me and my friends. So it was massively special. And that the first experience of that was in Manila. So I have a special place in my heart for Manila and the Filipinos in general. We spent a lot of time there, and I can't wait to come back.
Hey, more reasons. We're gonna give you more reasons to come back. And if I'm not mistaken, the mall is SM Mega Mall. It's a really the upwards one. I remember that. And I remember the bouncers telling me, you know, there's this band, Click 5. They're amazing as far as their instruments, as far as their music. These guys are really, they call it, the term is musiqueros. But they're doing the pop music. That's the route that they have. But these guys can really play. And I can't wait to have you here back again. But, you know, of course, PACER, the project. So it's out, no drama. What else is to expect for the remaining of the year?
Yeah, I have, like I said, I got 4 songs for PACER that are all going to be part of the same kind of subject matter and same project. I may release them as an EP later, but for now, I'm going to release them as singles over the next 6 months or so. I have a music video for No Drama that is going to come out on June 14th. So that's coming up. That's in 3 days. Very excited about that. I made that in the pandemic. I made the video in the pandemic, and this whole project is very special to me already because it is songs that I'm doing on my own terms, and I'm writing all this stuff, and this is my baby. But it has this extra layer to it because right after I filmed the music video for No Drama, I was in a horrible motorcycle accident and I broke my neck, 2 bones in my neck. And that started a very long healing process, which I had to set all of this stuff aside for years. So yeah, that was 2020 when I filmed the music video. So it took until now for me to really feel strong enough to where I was comfortable to do this. And I just feel massively lucky. You know, the accident was really bad, and it's just like I got so lucky in so many ways. Could have obviously been paralyzed, and you know, could have easily died. A lot of things happened where I just got lucky. So all things considered, as you can see, I'm fine. I have some range of motion. My neck is not quite 100%. And there's some numbness, like my left hand just feels kind of low battery. I feel it is just like not quite, it's a little like staticky feeling in my fingers. So there's some residual, you know, pain, but all things considered, I'm fine. And I got super lucky.
I mean, I admire the mental toughness. You know what I mean? With everything that you have gone through, I think 2020 has tested a lot of people, and you have faced a lot of the trials. And I'm gonna say you're not lucky. I'm gonna say you're blessed, man. You're very much blessed.
Yeah.
Now, for you, with everything that you have gone through, what kept you going? What was that one thing that kept you going? Music you had to put aside, but then you're back at it again. What kept you recording? What kept you writing songs?
Yeah, I think so. It's been 12 years since I've released something, and it took something like that accident to really light a fire under my butt. That's a weird way to say that. You can cut that out. It forced me. The accident forced me to realize how much I enjoy releasing my own music. Because it's been 12 years since I have done that, and I thought maybe there's a chance I never would again. But the accident kind of shook things up in me and really put into focus what's most important to me and what my favorite thing to do in the world is, which is sing for people and write songs and perform on stage. So yeah, the accident launched me into, okay, you know what, dude, quit messing around. You need to release some music. It's time to do this again.
Punch in, get it done. You have David Goggins on you now. What I mean? Stay hard. Kayla, go ahead, right?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that it took the accident for you to really be awakened to do these things. And, knocking on wood, fingers crossed, these things don't have to happen to any of us in order for us to be awakened. What advice could you give to everyone that's currently listening and currently watching, that might be, in a stump and feeling like, they need that push to go for something that's in their heart?
Yeah.
What advice would that be? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you hear this throughout your entire life, but life is short and it could end at a moment's notice. And I saw that firsthand. The choices that were made, and it was my fault. The accident was my fault. So it was all a series of small little choices that I made that led to this snapshot of losing traction and going off the road. And within a millisecond, I had broken my neck. So that could happen to anyone listening to this at any point in time. And if there's any holding back, doing something that you love, or maybe you're stuck in maybe a job you don't love, or you're stuck in a relationship that you're not fully in, I would like for these songs to be a nudge to look to the future, and there's a more peaceful life out there for you. And maybe it's not always the easiest route, but there's a more peaceful life out there, and maybe a happier life out there. Yeah, life is short. Simple as that.
For those who are tuning in, Kyle Patrick joins us, sharing with us his life story. And it's just amazing. What I've learned from this interview is always be excited for the next. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the next chapter. True. We are very much excited for the next chapter of what's to come for you. You're getting married, family along the way. You know what I mean? You're feeling everything back again. You got music. Now, after PACER, what's in store? Are you going to be releasing some Kyle Patrick music? Are you going to be reuniting with Click 5?
Yeah, so I think as far as I'm concerned, I can't really see into the future, but I am going to move forward as PACER. That's my new name. That's the artist name that I'm going to release music under into the future. With the past stuff with Kyle Patrick, I needed to kind of remove myself from that, to be totally honest. I felt a little stuck with it, and I did feel I had this attachment to the past, and I always felt like maybe I needed to write stuff that fit in with the past music. But with Pacer, I needed this clean slate and I needed freedom. So far that has felt absolutely amazing creatively. As far as the Click 5 is concerned, I know that there's going to be people out there that listen to Pacer and maybe just want to hear the Click 5 still. And I totally respect that. I understand that. I can't expect every single person to, be open to this kind of change, and stylistically it's quite different. So I can't expect everybody to be on board with that. But what I hope for is that people listen to it with an open mind. And people have to change. I think there's this kind of common thing with like, oh, I liked their older stuff. You hear that all the time about solo artists and bands. And the first record was really the one that was amazing. And I understand that. I feel that way about certain artists too. But as far as me coming from the other side of that, which is the artist side, you have to evolve and you have to try new things. You have to experiment. And Pacer is exactly that for me. It's this experimentation. And I'm just having an absolute blast with that. So at the end of the day, it's something that I love, and I can't wait to see what people think of it. And I'm going to keep trying new stuff.
So what are the challenges when you hit a stage, when you go on stage? This is you introducing yourself as a completely new person. So what's the difference in the audience now and before? And, how does it all fare out as well?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't really know the answer to that. I think that's to be determined. I imagine what the live show will look like. So I have that in my mind. Also quite different than what I used to do. At the core of this project, it's still me. And it is still my songwriting style. It's still my performance style. Those are not going to change because I am who I am, and I have a long running history of influences and things that span way beyond in the past, way longer ago than Click 5 and leading up to the Click 5. And those years are obviously incredibly influential on me. Some of the best years of my life spent touring with the Click 5. So there's still pieces of that are there. But this is all about doing new stuff, and what that live show looks like, I'm not quite sure yet. I've started to put together a few little things, and I think it's amazing. I'm a little biased, but I think it's amazing.
Awesome. And we're not sure when you will be coming to the Philippines, but if there's a message that you could give to your many Filipino fans, what would it be?
I love you guys so much. It's been a really long time, and I am just so thankful to anyone listening that you maybe have stuck with me this long, even with me being out of the spotlight for a long time. I'm so excited to be doing this again and doing what I love for you guys. I hope that you relate to these songs. I really hope that you'll listen to them. I hope that you'll tell your friends about them, share them, use them on social media, do all the things that really helps me at this stage. I really am starting from nothing, and that's very exciting to me. So I hope you will come along with me from the beginning.
To honestly express yourself, that's what Brucey would always say. And he's saying with Muhammad Ali, it is your art, the stage, the world is your canvas, your world is your stage. And we were very much excited for what Pacer has to bring in and what you got to bring in, Kyle. Is there a documentary that you're releasing as well? Yeah, is there one?
No. I think it could be something that I look into in the future. There's been quite a lot that's happened in the last decade and beyond. So I think that's I never even thought about that, Rico. So you've put a little idea into my brain that maybe that's on the horizon.
Yeah, sell that documentary to Netflix. That's gonna be a hit. I'm telling you, man.
So.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
True.
Kayla.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Rico just planted a seed, but aside your EP that's going to be coming up within the next few months, and my gosh, your marriage as well. Is there anything else, on the go for you in the coming months?
Yeah, is there any production work that you're doing now? Are you producing as well for other people?
Yeah, that has been my career and will continue to be a big part of my career. Is I love this, being in the studio and, like I said, experimenting with sounds and bringing other artists up, especially brand new artists. I love working with people who maybe have never even done this before and are just making cool songs and writing really cool songs, but maybe they don't know quite how to bring them to life in the studio. That's one of my favorite things to do. So I will absolutely continue to do that. Every day I'm working on some project for someone with another artist. So that's a big part of my life, and you will absolutely be seeing that for me. Today, for example, I'm working on an artist named Monogem, who's a Latin artist and absolutely stunning vocalist, so incredibly talented. And I'm like massively thankful that I am working on this project. There's certain artists that come along where I feel like my job is just like not mess it up and just capture what they do and just make sure I capture it well, and not necessarily try to influence them too much. And she is one of those artists that she just is amazing, and I'm just capturing, and it's just a pleasure to listen to her sing. So yeah, that's today, and tomorrow will be a different artist, but I'm always doing that and love to do that. So maybe in the future I'd work with some artists in the Philippines too, or maybe bring some of them to the studio here, or come to the work in some studios out there.
For sure. We're gonna hook y'all up with a lot of different artists. Now, I'm gonna ask you. This is probably the first time I'm gonna ask this. It's an advice from two different people. We're talking about an advice as a producer, and what is your advice as an artist to those that are starting out, don't know how to get their work out of their bedroom, or just write a song. They don't have the confidence quite yet, but you seem to have that, to honestly express yourself on pen and paper and on lyrics.
Yeah, great questions. I could talk about this stuff all day. I really geek out on this stuff, and I spend a lot of time thinking about it. I know we're answering two different people here, but one particular, there's one through line that works for both of those people, which is do not care at all about what other people think of you. That's the biggest thing. I live my life by that. And I will tell you right now, I'm not perfect at that. I fall back into this mindset of listening to the songs I'm working on through the audience's ears, and you just can't do that. You have to do what's right for you in the studio, and whatever makes you the most excited, your excitement will translate and be contagious to the audience. But if you're trying to do things the other way around and kind of expect or lead into what you think that they might like, it generally comes off as fake, for lack of a better word. So not caring about what other people think of you absolutely comes into play in the production side of things as well as the artist side of things. As far as specifically artistry and creativity, and like you said, maybe somebody who's never written any songs before, or maybe they're having a difficult time with writer's block or something like that and having a tough time writing songs, something that has helped me greatly is this 30-day experiment. And I'll throw this out there for whoever wants to try this. A lot of the PACER songs I wrote with this method. So it is a 30-day experiment where each day for 30 days, no days off, every single day for 30 days, you spend 1.5 hours sitting down writing something. Where it gets kind of interesting and you can kind of adapt to this is limit your tools. So for example, it's very daunting. The point of this is it's very, very daunting to sit down in the studio and just go, okay, I need to write an album today, or I need to write an album this week. And that's, probably 10 songs. They all have, anywhere from 10 to 100 tracks in each song. and you got to write the verse and the chorus and the bridge, and it gets really, really daunting really, really fast. There's too many things to think about at once for one person. So that minimizing things to a short amount of time, 90 minutes, it just makes you forget about a lot of stuff because you have to do something in a short amount of time. So you can limit yourself with the time, and then also the instruments you use. In this room, there's like 100 different things right here, and then not to mention the software. There's just like endless options for sounds to use. So limiting yourself to, hey, I'm only going to use this one acoustic guitar. I'm only going to use that one guitar, and I'm only going to use the acoustic piano, and I can only like bang on stuff in the studio to make drum noises. So those are some things to kind of limit yourself. Limiting the creative process tends to breed some interesting thought patterns in the way that you create music. And of course, the idea is you can adjust things later. It's kind of that like just throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and deal with it later, make sense of it later. That mindset for the creativity side of things has really, really helped me when I feel kind of stuck.
It reminds me so much of Iron Man when he was stuck in the cave, and then he built, right? With the limit, it sticks to the basics. It really will strip you down raw of what you truly know as the primal instinct of things. And of course, when you have that foundation, when you create that song or that music, that sound, then you work it out from there, right? Then you start adding on.
With you like 30 days. And I've done it maybe 4 or 5 times since I kind of realized that this was super helpful. I've done it 4 or 5 times. And each time out of those 30, like 27 of them are absolute garbage. They're terrible ideas, just never going to see the light of day. But you might get 2 or 3 that are like, whoa, I just was in the right headspace, and I just actually forgot about what was going on outside of this room, and I actually wrote something cool that day. So it's just about trying. Just get your butt in the chair and try something. And you do it enough times, you're gonna write something that's cool.
Well, you know what they say. You get you hang out in the barber shop long enough, you're bound to get a haircut. Right?
Exactly. Precisely.
Yeah, that's just about. For those that are tuning in, we have Kyle Patrick. He is joining us now. Can't wait to have you in the Philippines. Thank you for sharing with us. Chapters of your life.
Thank you.
Such an inspiration. This is. I'm telling you, man. The documentary. We're gonna wait up for it. All right.
I'm gonna start making some calls.
Yeah. Right. Of course, we'd like to thank you. On my end, I'm pretty much cool about it, and great to catch up with you. But as far as producing for the Philippines, an artist, what kind of artist are you looking for to produce? As far as the one beside you right here, she's a great singer. She's like our Beyonce, man.
No way.
Oh my gosh, Rico.
She's like our Beyonce, dude. I'm telling you.
I wouldn't say Beyonce, but I mean, it would be an honor for any of us Filipino artists to work with you. So, like Rico was saying, though, honestly, like, what are you looking for in a Filipino artist that you would be interested in working with?
Yeah, totally. Well, first and foremost, I would love to hear your music.
Wow.
Yeah, I will definitely check it out. I'm all about it. Love hearing new stuff. Yeah, I like to work with pop artists that want to push some boundaries sonically. I don't tend to make straight ahead pop music. Usually there's some sort of left of center kind of turn of the key that's like, it's not quite straight up the middle pop music. But it's at the core a pop song. That's typically the stuff that I'm working on. I do some hip hop stuff as well, and a lot of dance music actually as well. So I would say, as far as the vocal is concerned, it's a pop song form. Like typically I gravitate towards a verse, chorus, bridge, chorus kind of thing. I like repetition. I like catchy melodies. So all of that stuff stays intact with what you would consider a pop song. But these days, I tend to dress that up in a little bit more of this indie alternative, kind of hazy, a little bit of lo-fi energy to it. And I have a bunch of like old tape machines and cassette stuff. You can't really see it because I can't turn this camera, but I have a lot of tape stuff and vinyl stuff that I use to sample. And I like to kind of downgrade a lot of the sounds that I work on. So it ends up in this like hazy kind of lo-fi world. But at the core of it, it's a pop song.
To look forward to, keeping it analog.
Yeah.
As they do say, we're in an analog world of digital soul. That's what it's about.
Today it's like the tools we have, you can make anyone sound good. And I think having even people that can't sing at all, you can make anyone sound good, but it's kind of like bridging that gap of like using the tools that we have in like a creative way, as opposed to a crutch or needing to rely on like autotune is a perfect example. I use autotune on everything I work on. And I'm not the best singer in the world, but I can sing without it too. I just like to use it as a fun, more creative tool, and that goes all the way down to the analog stuff. It's more of like using left of center things to create pop music. Yeah,
make it sound unique. All right, so thank you, Kyle, for taking time to join us. We're halfway around the world. And great to hear from you. Now, invite all your fans to request for your songs here on the Monster.
Hey, what's up? I'm PACER. Request my new single, No Drama, on the Monster.
There you have it, Monsters. Yeah, we just gave you an exclusive. Halfway around the world, we travel to Los Angeles to be exact. Listening to the music of PACER, No Drama, request for it here on the Monster. What's up, Kayla?
Hey, Rico, you know what? More than that being an interview, I feel like I took away so much, inspiration at the same time. Yeah, a lot of inspiration in life and also as an artist, the hour and a half for 30 days. I think that's something
I'm on that challenge.
Right?
I'm on
we
that
gotta
challenge.
try it.
Yeah, I'm on that challenge.
Yeah. Right? Yes. So yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, my name is Rico Robles.
And I'm Kayla Rivera.
This has been another Monster exclusive interview. Give it up once again for Kyle Patrick for PACER.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Kyle Patrick. Thank you.
Monster exclusive interview. Monster exclusive interview.